rbradio.com.
Don't know what's going on, don't know what went wrong. Feels like 100 years, I still can't believe you're gone. So I'll stay up all night with these bloodshot eyes, while these walls surround me with the story of our life. I feel so much better now that you're gone forever. I tell myself that I don't miss you at all. Now that I am denying that I feel so much better now that you're gone forever. Now things are
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. We chanted Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blues
2011, Birmingham City in the Premier League and in the Carling Cup final. Does it get any better than this? From the very moment that Obafemi Martins scored the late winner and Stevie Carr lifted that trophy that was ours way back in 2011, all Blues fans who had been around for a while probably knew in their heart of hearts that something was going to go wrong. It was also Carson Young's birthday on the day none of us will ever forget. Relegation, the Tilton Talk shows begin. Every Tilton Talk show that has ever been produced and delivered has been whilst Blues have been in decline, fans lied to, owner jailed, assets stripped and left with no meat on the bones, the very heart ripped out of our club and out of our souls. Supporters staying away not wanting to put a single penny into the club under that regime. Protests, dare I say, even the odd bedsheet. November 2013, St Andrews is granted an asset of community value. Court cases, suing, counter-suing. How did we ever survive such a mess? Receivers, beaten 8-0 at home against Bournemouth. That had me thinking, it's all over, done. It surely can't get any worse than this. My football club is dying, and we are the laughing stock of the world. Panos Pavlakis. Who? Just 1 week later, and God knows why, Gary Rowett and his team walked through the doors. I'd lost all hope of ever thinking we would survive such a tumultuous time. Then in the pub with my eldest son Adam, we watched that impressive draw against Wolves, and that first post-match interview. Somehow, a little bit of belief instilled into the players as week after week we slowly climb the table and ensure our championship survival. Monday the 17th of October 2016 at 2 a.m. UK time, we were delivered from the clutches of evil as the announcement we have all yearned for was made to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. We are now free. We are not just a football club, but a family. It is not just a business, it's our way of life, it's our history, it's our all. It's what we talk about, think about, dream about. It's what carries us through the weeks. It's our calling, our fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, children and friends. It's our life. Our Birmingham City is once again back on the long, long road. Please, please, please. Can we now have some more joys? The Leyland Duff, the auto windscreens, promotion, Europe, Darren Carter, Obafemi Martins, Paul Caddis, Enkelman, and so many more joys. Is this just another regime change in the life of a Blue Nose? Whatever happens, we will keep right on to the end of the road. Welcome to Monday night's Tilton Talk show. I didn't know whether you'd click the mic on or off. No. Yeah, we're all on.
Yeah, it was on the ball.
For the very, 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 very first time in the history of Tilton Talk, and obviously what was Forza before that, we have new owners.
Hang on, sorry.
He's not ready.
Oh, I haven't got the applause.
Chris and his button. He's not very clever, So welcome. Yeah, no. Welcome to the Monday night's Tilton Talk show with myself, Chris Pugh, and Chris Brown. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Evening.
Are you feeling any better this week?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. Just been away.
Just been away.
Just been away to
Quiet weekend.
Quiet weekend. You liar. I've seen some of the pictures.
No, I don't know what you're on about.
We now also have a Chris Pugh Facebook Appreciation Society.
I noticed,
Gathering momentum.
I don't think I should be a member of it though. It sort of goes against the grain, doesn't it? You can't be it's a bit egotistical to be a member of your own appreciation society.
Funny idea though, wasn't it? I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think today. I'm a little bit confused, Chris.
Why is that?
Well, it's just the news that we've been waiting for so very long. And when it came through without any kind of hitches this morning, and I was still awake at 2 o'clock waiting for it to happen. I'm uber excited. But I don't know what to think.
I don't know what to think. I don't think it'll change the footballing aspect, but it's just that, obviously this has been in the offing for a long time now. We've known that this is the date that everything was going to be sorted and everything was going to be agreed and everything was going to be taken over.
What it is that it went through without that hitch that I was expecting.
You
know what I mean?
With what's happened with Blues over the last 5 or so years, you couldn't excuse Blues fans for expecting something to go wrong at the 11th hour, at 1:30 in the morning, and something to go wrong with half an hour to go, do you know what I mean, before the Hong Kong Stock Exchange reopened. So that in that sense, it is just that overwhelming relief, I think, that everything did, even though it was, I don't think there was any doubt about it ever being an issue or not going through, but what with everything that has happened, delays, legal wranglings and everything like that, the fact that we just, for most Blues fans, they went to bed and they woke up and we are rid of them, and
we are rid of them.
We're rid of.
Can you just say that one more time?
We're rid of the people that put us in this situation, and there is, I think, just that hashtag. I think they put it on Twitter, the hashtag forward. That's just the way we've got to think now. That's the club's aspect on it, and that's the way we go now. We are thinking forward now. There's no point in thinking back to what has happened. No point in dwelling on the last 5 years. This is the fresh start that everybody's been asking for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The 5 years was an awful long time for this mess to be sorted out. Thankfully, with the help of Ernst & Young and Panos and of course Gary coming through the door and the backroom staff. Yeah. And
I'm sure most people at BIHL as well who wanted it sorted out, who wanted everything done properly and everything signed off and the likes. It was, we know a couple obviously that didn't want it, and I'm sure there were more but that wanted to hold on, but that's over now, and we have to look forward and with optimism, really. That's all we can do. There's no point being concerned about this group or whatnot, but
I don't think I have any concerns. I mean, they've been waiting in the wings now 16, maybe 18 months.
Yeah.
and they've still been waiting. And Gary Rout, I've heard his interview on radio on the way in today, said that he quite openly said he was tempted a few times to take these other offers that were coming his way, but he wanted to stick around and wait for this takeover to happen.
Yeah.
Which shows that it just gives you a little bit of belief that there is some loyalty in football.
It shows that he's got confidence in the regime that is coming in. He's obviously heard, whether he's just spoke to Panos. I think he mentioned he did speak to Paul Swen.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So
Who is, of course, very welcome to come in and have an interview.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in. We got him next week, haven't we, Chris? Yeah. But that shows that Rabbit's obviously optimistic, and like you say, he's happy to stay and give this new Blues, if you like, a real good shot. And he's got faith in it, and Pavlakis has got faith in it, who's staying as well by the looks of things. So.
Yep.
Can I just say I've missed the chat went ballistic at the beginning. I missed a lot of them. They've gone. I don't know how to get them back. So can I just catch up on the ones that I can see?
Of course you can, Mr. Brown.
Evening all, champagne tonight, says Mark Johnson. Alan Adrian Osborne, we will not get lots of money, he says.
Well, we're not expecting lots of money, and that's always been muted. It's never been, they've not come in, they've not gone on Twitter saying we're going to buy this, super duper multi-million-pound world-beating striker. We're going to have you playing in Europe in 2 years' time. None of it. It's all been very quiet, all very done in the background. And I think that's the correct and right way for football clubs to manage their boardroom affairs.
And I know one of the early comments was there is not a more stirring song than
there isn't. There isn't.
Anthony says we struggled through some very bad
Shocking
times, and yet we still fighting a strong battle and not backing down from one cause. We keep right on. We are the boys in blue and white. We love to sing and we love to do other things. Yeah. Okay. No more Carson songs now. Blue Noses is gone now. We need to do a song for Panos to keep right on. Adrian Osborne says new song definitely Mr. Blue Sky. Yeah.
And the skies certainly do look a bit bluer today, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then can we buy a new stand?
Let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away. I think, and I think Gary Rowe also is very, very aware that the progression is continual and slow.
But it's not going to be.
No.
Like you say, we're not ever. I don't think we'll get anything like the money that them across the road have had, and just with the current owners, because that's not that sort of company. We know what we're dealing with. We know what's possibly coming in January.
Message just coming on the chat box. Sorry, is Paul Schwen guest? I will be in next week for an interview. Can we have some wasabi nuts? I might have a feeling who that might be.
Yeah,
Chris Pugh
I
needs a
don't
haircut,
think it's Paul. Yes, Chris Pugh does need a
He needs a
haircut.
haircut.
I could have bought for someone.
You know what? I could not agree more with that.
I know
Well
a
said.
Chinese man who can sort you out.
That is brilliant. If you could pass me his number, that would be much appreciated. Yeah.
That's regarding for the club. How much is in the kitty? We don't really know.
There's going to be
talk of 10 million.
Talk of 10 million.
But
That
that'd be
includes
everything.
wages and everything to keep the club going. So, the only way we can change that,
If we got to January,
attendances.
but if we got to January, and we're able to bring in £2 million players, just to give us that extra boost come January, because we haven't had that the last 2 years, and we've had the last season. Obviously, we did drop after January, February time. There was the injuries to Cottrell and Donaldson, which affected that.
Yeah, very much so.
But if you had that ability to bring those players in January, then if there were injuries, the impact that would have on our season would hopefully be less dramatic.
Yeah.
Special guest in the studio a bit later on is going to be Michael Johnson. Looking forward to that one. So that would be around about 8 o'clock. We normally get the guests on. So and next week, ladies and gentlemen, the 24th. Is that right, Christopher?
Yes, 24th.
The 24th. We have Birmingham City Royalty. We have Birmingham City Royalty. We're not going to let you know just yet who we've got in the studio. Is going to be here for at least an hour and a half session live. But this is a biggie.
It's a biggie.
It's a biggie.
Yeah.
We've had some biggies this year, haven't we, Chris?
Yeah. Right, I'm doing another catch up.
Yeah.
Even all, hope you are looking to the future for our great club, says Andrew. Positive feelings now after nervous years of turmoil. We don't need mega money, just stability and the ability to keep going forward.
I agree with that. Yeah, you don't want to rock the boat as such.
Rank
says that chairman should be seen but not heard.
Yeah,
but yes. No,
I kind of do agree.
Yes, leave that to Panos. He's very good at communicating. He communicates what he needs to communicate. Yeah?
Yeah.
We don't want to know what's going on at the IHL.
No.
As football
Paul is
fans, we
putting
don't
in
want to know.
Can you tell me the name of Burnley's chairman?
I probably couldn't name.
So you know
Exactly, yeah.
you know, clubs like this have got owners that are just happy to sit in the background and let the manager do the work. They'll help the manager when he needs it. You know, and if that's the kind of situation we can be in now, where the owners are prepared to help Rowett, are prepared to give him, you know, a budget of some sort in transfer windows. So, you know, I mean, for the last 5 years we've been looking at who we need to sell, to not just to be able to bring players in, but to keep afloat. You know, selling Gray and the likes.
Paul Schwen is it Schwen or Schwen?
Swen.
He's putting 10 million in January. Is that literally all he will put in for the next 2 years? Surely not, says Kyle.
I think that
then he
depends
says
if we go up.
Crispy looks like Fred West. Get your hair cut, man.
Thank you.
I can actually see that. Yeah.
Oh, right,
I can see that.
thanks,
Yeah. How about a Carson?
I'm really glad we're taking this show seriously.
How about a Carson coffin? Says Andrew Cave. It's not how much we can get; it's how well Gary spends it. Yeah.
And he's done well so far with his spend,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to complain on that one. Another message in on the
Facebook page.
no,
Not
sorry,
Facebook,
on the
Shoutbox.
Shoutbox from Carson Young. Hope you are all happy with the changes at your club. I can honestly say I've had the best time in the last 5 years with you, and I hope to work with you again soon. I've got a finger on who that is as well.
10 million. That's more than we've had for years.
Exactly. That's the way you've got to look at it.
Yeah.
For somebody to be able to say that they're going to put 10 million into the club, that, like you say, that's more than we've had in the last 5 years put together, probably.
Burnley chairman Mike Garlick.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have known that, would we?
No.
Well, we don't know.
Did you know it?
He knew it.
I'm still not 100% sure
Well,
if that's
Johnson
right
is,
or not.
yeah.
So,
Well, no, he didn't.
but
He googled it.
Yeah.
Come on.
but you know that the point is he's not on Twitter every like, you know, it's so easy to use our friend across the expressway as the example now, because
everybody in the world knows him now.
Everybody, he seems to want everybody in the world to know who he is and to know his opinions on
I want
everything.
to know if Trevor's coming in then.
All we're going to say, it's somebody who has represented the club at a very high level, and
Sorry.
Oh, that's it. They've got it.
Sorry.
you can't take him anywhere, can you?
Can I go straight into this one?
Yeah.
I have a question. Are TTA just a holding company? Or
Yes, they are.
For a big money buy? Yeah,
Well,
they know
look.
about it.
Well, they're an investment company.
Investment
They
company.
know about it. They're there to sell, but yeah, of course.
But if like you know,
What's
we've
the
said before, if we go up, then they might be more inclined to hold on for a couple of years to see how, you know, the difference between selling a club mid-table in the Championship or selling a Premier League club is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So whether we go up this year or if we just miss out on the playoffs or make the playoffs but don't go up, they might be inclined to stay on just a little bit longer. You know, with that possibility that in a couple of years they might be able to sell a Premier League club, which obviously, you know, is
Well, they're going to make the money, isn't it?
rises dramatically then.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, the loads. What's going on?
Loads coming.
It's their show.
Okay,
Ding away when you need.
We're here for them.
okay, let's go for a few more. Let's hope we get some fans coming down who stopped because of Carson. No excuse. Now let's get 22,000.
Well, what
regular.
I can say on that then, Chris, is that Tuesday nights I do a pub quiz, and once I've committed to doing something, I do it. I don't back out like here, there, and everywhere. But I've genuinely got somebody else to go and do it for me tomorrow, so I can go to the game tomorrow night. There you go. So there's one that wouldn't have been going tomorrow night, who also will be taking others. So there's 3, 4, 5 there that will be turning up tomorrow that wouldn't have gone
And
otherwise.
Lewis says is it Stern John that's coming in?
Oh shit, was.
Oh, can I say get well to my dear sister? She's just broke her arm apparently.
No.
Yeah.
Let Rowett get on with. He had nothing for years. Let's see what he does with a bit of cash.
Absolutely.
Well, he had
He might get
cash
his
in the
haircut.
summer. He might get his hair. Yeah. If you could, if part of that 10 million can come to me, so I can get my hair, that'd be great. No, but he bought in the summer. Che Adams, Greg Stewart, and he spent money on Shotton, and obviously, these players have come in and made an impact. So I think the times he has spent money, we are looking at it and saying that at the moment they've they've proved to be good, and they're proving to make a really good impact on the thing. So
Yeah. Right, okay. Texting my sister as we do this one today. So, she fell over drunk. So there you go. That's taken her down. Childish behaviour, stupid behaviour. You don't get up to any of that, do you?
No,
Mr. Fun.
Nothing. Alcohol's bad for you, apparently.
Anything on the ladies this week, then, Mister?
No, not for Blues ladies. Unfortunately, England's under-17s women went out of the World Cup, lost to Japan in the quarter-final. But Japan are like the leading light at that age group. I think I read a stat. They've won their last 17 games at under-17 World Cups with an aggregate score of about 53-3, I think it said. So, they are the leading light and the example to follow in terms of youth football for women. But so, unfortunately, England had to come home, and Ellie Brazil and Connie Schofield, the Blues representatives there. But we've got 2 league games left away to Man City, not this Sunday, the Sunday after. And then the season ends the week after that away at Sunderland. So.
Has that £5 just appeared on the desk, or is it?
Oh yes, I know what that's from.
You know what that's from, right? Okay, cool.
Look back at it for me. To say the right things. Just
Yeah.
show. He's passed. Thank God. We hope he does.
Well, looking at the kind of messages that have been put out today, I would say that's a definite.
Like it.
That's a definite.
I think he's been They've made him the face of. They put a lot of media out with him. For his comments and comments from Rowett and Paul Swen about Pavlakis. So I'll be mightily surprised if he isn't staying on. And rightly so as well, because he's done a.
When you've supported BCSC for 50 years, you need to drink, said Richard.
Well, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Chris is just.
I haven't reached that age.
You're just learning, aren't you, mate? Oh, dear.
Keep lights on from Cancun.
Perfect.
SOTV.
That's what we like.
That was mad.
All the way from Cancun.
Do you have a rant this week?
Do I have a rant?
Yeah, should we do it? If you have a rant, should we do it before we get Michael Johnson on the phone or afterwards?
Just very, very quickly, going back to the ladies.
Yeah.
Apparently England lost to Japan, but beat Germany in third place group in the ladies under
17s?
Yeah. Correct. I didn't see any reports on that.
Not the Germany game. I haven't seen
okay.
that. They beat Germany in the. That was in last year's World Cup. That was the full squad.
Okay.
No, but they lost to Japan in the quarter-final of the under-17s, which was played.
I've just got a message saying England lost to Japan in the semi-final and beat Germany in third place game.
Oh, that was last year's
right.
World Cup. That was with the full squad. This is the under-17s that was played this week.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah. Do you have a rant this week?
I've come completely unprepared, so
No problem.
I don't think I can think.
I'm not
of
surprised
one.
after the weekend you've had.
No.
You don't have to. It's good if you haven't got one.
No, sorry. I'll try and make one for next week.
Okay. 5 minutes then till we get John on the phone, which is going to be some interesting conversations with him. Bless him.
And they have something to say about the takeover. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but again, he's probably same as all of us now. He's just not going to know a lot, So
I think people are repeating a lot, aren't they, about it now? That we don't know the ins and outs of it. I think it's just the overwhelming relief of it all. I think is his abiding emotion.
I think that 5 years now has got to be written off, ended.
Yeah,
finished,
I agree wholeheartedly.
And what we've got to do as supporters is be realistic. First and foremost, yeah.
If we were in charge
in our expectations,
and we had £10 million to spend, where would we spend it? If we had it to spend,
we'll come to that in a minute. We've got to be realistic in our expectations, and not kind of put pressure on Gary and the rest of the team.
I don't think you can put any pressure on him.
We are where we are.
Yeah.
We are what we are.
This takeover doesn't change.
Diddly squat.
Our playing squad ability and anything like that, and the ability of everybody else around us. It doesn't change. So like you say, our squad strength hasn't changed because we've got new owners.
Yes.
So it is important to stay realistic and say this is what we were doing before they come in. We're not suddenly going to surge up the table and win 10 out of 10 because we've got new owners.
We may.
We won't. Nobody does it in this league, but yeah,
we may.
yeah. And I think the Forest game on Friday was a wake up call. Not obviously you don't want a wake up call like that, but it is a wake up call that we are still, not a world beater in this league, and we are going to get unstuck at times.
Yeah. Do we get extra chips, do you think, now?
Extra
chips? When we get burger and chips?
No, absolutely
New
not.
owners, extra chips? No?
In fact, the price will go up now. to cover the 10 million.
Nice one. Thanks for making me choke there, mate. Nice one.
You're welcome.
Dear. Right, okay, we think we've got our special guest on the phone. We're just plugging him in right now. And good evening, the one and only Mr. Michael Johnson.
Hello, good evening.
Ah, there you are. Hello, how you doing, my friend, all right?
Good, very good. Yourself?
My sister's still in love with you. I met you in the George. I met you in the George last year and told you all about her. I handed you a phone just after the cup final, and you sat there in the cop talking to her, and she was like jelly. She's been like jelly ever since. And when she knew that you were on the show tonight, she's texted me saying, "Where's my bloody invite?"
So do pass on my regards, please.
Oh, bless her. She'll be over the moon now. She just messaged me now. She's just messaged me this second. I'll read what she's just said because I'm only opening it. Oh my, kiss, 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 kiss.
That's always nice to know that you've pleased somebody over the years.
Do you? I think she's probably still got pictures of you in her bedroom. I think she's about 46 now, something like that. We all have, yeah.
Oh dear.
All righty. If she comes back with anything else, I'll keep you informed.
Okay. No
tops. How are you keeping anyway, young man?
I'm very good. Really, really good.
Marvellous. Would like to welcome you to the Tilton Talk show, and thanks for giving up your time. 5 years we've been doing this, and for 5 years we've been under the regime of the previous occupiers, shall we call them? And now we are free. We are free.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. Should never have got to this, but
no.
I was saying to Chris Pugh earlier, I don't know how I feel at the moment, because it's just all we've been able to talk about for 5 years is been negatives, really, as far as ownership and that goes. And now today it's all over and done. So onwards and upwards. What we've just been talking about is that we have to be real in our expectations as well now. Now is the time for stability, and for those supporters who have vowed that they would keep away while this regime was in place, to get back down to St Andrews and start making it rock again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's brilliant. I think that's what they should be doing, getting back down there, because it's only the players and the atmosphere and those that are really, really hardcore suffer, because it just dampens the whole atmosphere, and it makes it not such an intimidating place for the opposing team to come to.
Was it ever intimidating when you played? I know they're your own supporters, but we can be a very vociferous, noisy lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're not going well, and the team's not, giving you 100%, that, I don't think that was targeted at many of the teams over the years that we played in at Birmingham. But it is a place where it's very vocal. The fans, obviously, are not shy in making their feelings known. But I think the demands on the team and as an individual is that you just at least, put in a shift and work as hard as you can. I won't say the word I was going to say.
Well saved.
Yeah.
What was the biggest crowd you played in front of when you were there?
For Blues?
Yeah.
It would have been the definitely the Ipswich game at home.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
There was a spare seat to be had in the ground then, so I think that the home game, for many of us, we still talk about it now. That game, you could literally feel the stands rocking.
Did your ears ever recover after that one?
I think it's still ringing now. Actually,
the whistles at the end of that. I mean, we talk about it often, but the whistles at the end of that game, and I know I've said it quite a few times on here, but I took a profoundly deaf lad to that game, and it's the first time he ever heard anything in his life.
Yeah, honestly, like you said, it was unbelievable atmosphere. And, like I said, if we meet up some of the former players, that game always gets spoken about as the noise. And, as a player, I remember that you'd be on the pitch and you wouldn't be able to hear somebody speak to you from 10, 15 yards away. It was that loud.
Grand stuff. We're still apparently the noisiest set of fans ever to grace Wembley as well for the Carling Cup final. There you go. That's another stat.
So again, I lost you then.
We're still the loudest set of supporters ever to grace Wembley at the Carling Cup final 2011.
Brilliant.
So yes, so we've got that under our belts as well.
Brilliant.
Grand, isn't it? We love making noise.
Yeah.
But again,
it's great when it's...
Go on.
No, I said it's always great when it's going well. It's always welcomed. Sometimes as young players especially, some of them might fall with the noise if it's not constructive. So it's really important that the fans, there's always a Blues more often than not get behind the team.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Michael, with the takeover obviously going through today, obviously it's been much protracted that it is going to happen. Would you see that there is going to be an impact on the players themselves, or do you think they just get on with the day-to-day business now?
I think they get on with the day-to-day business. I don't think from a player's angle there'll be much difference. I mean, obviously what would be different would be off the field, the stability, the plans that you can make off the field, the monies that might be made available to Mr. Rowett, the training ground, the infrastructure. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes now which can now improve and take the club to the next level. But as for the current playing team, they're contracted. They'll be out there, looking to play their next game tomorrow night. So nothing really changes from a player's aspect. But obviously the longer term planning and strategic planning from the management team is more realistic now. You've got a chance to make a bigger impact.
Question here from Warden Blue, because we're on several streams, several live streams across social networks, and also we've got a shoutbox on the system here. What was Michael Johnson's favourite moment at Blues?
Oh, without doubt, the Millennium Stadium.
When we were robbed, you mean?
There's two. The Worthington Cup final when we were robbed. I mean, for us to, I still believe were a better team than Liverpool at that moment, I think they won the treble that year.
Yeah.
So we pushed the Liverpool team and we should have actually won it. So that was one of the moments, and it was great, obviously, to see eventually, justice done 10 years later. And also aided to that would obviously be the promotion against Norwich, which remains one of the highlights of my career, to go and get promoted that way, after so many failed attempts. The Barnsley game we failed, the Watford game there was numerous attempts, Preston, yeah. And to finally do it against Norwich was really, really something that, even now to this day I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I get them all the time. I've only got to mention two words, Birmingham and City, and the Abbey Shackles are up there.
Yeah.
They're on the go already. We've got absolutely loads and loads of questions coming in from various sources. Chris is going to ask you a few now, buddy.
On the Facebook groups, who is the best player Michael has played with and why?
Well, the best player I played with at my time at Blues has to be Dugarry. Christoph. Yeah. Christoph was, unbelievably talented.
And tall.
He was, tall, good looking as well. He was the go-to man, especially the first season when we were struggling and Brucey brought him in and around the Christmas transfer window. And the minute he came in, you just knew that he had something about him. He was just class. Training, he'd score wonder goals, And obviously out on the pitch, it was one of those. He was that good that at times the management said, we'll defend with 10, allow Christoph to do what he wants, and when you win the ball back, just look for Christoph. And he's a World Cup winner, so he was top draw.
And who is your best mate in the football world, whether it be at Blues or elsewhere?
Well, from my time at Blues, I still speak with Ian Bennett, who I'm very close to.
Top man. If you could ever get him in for us, we'd love it.
Ben Skinsbury, I definitely have a word with Ben, and he's top man. Paul Devlin, I'm godfather.
Yeah, Paul's been in.
So, probably Paul Devlin, Jeff Horsfield, I still speak to a lot. Dealey, I think what happened was that, my time at Blues, I forged such a good team bonding and team spirit with a lot of the guys. Andy Johnson, I still speak to all the time, is that we've remained friends after football's finished.
That's lovely.
And I think that talks volumes for what kind of team environment we built in my time at Birmingham. I wouldn't have said we were the most flamboyant of teams. We wasn't a team full of littered with stars, but what we had was 1 to 11 was a team that was all together, all off the same hymn sheet.
Just a quick one going back to the playoffs. You mentioned all the semi-final heartbreaks and things. Being part of those semi-final defeats, when we finally beat Millwall and got to the final, was there an element of within the squad, this is our time now, we're not going to let this go now, we've passed the semi-final stage and this is our time?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think we knew that potentially if we didn't do it, we might not have done it, because the team was going to get a split. I think Brucey had just taken over, and there was going to be a lot of the players unsure about their futures, but we knew that this was the last throw of the dice. We had to really go for it, and once we got past Millwall, it was just like, this is it. We have got to do it. We've tried for the last 4 seasons and failed to do it. And also, we wanted to be the ones that brought top flight football back to Birmingham City after it being starved of top flight football for so long. And I look at the ground now, and I look at the training ground, and a lot of that has been from that journey that's happened after that, famous day in 2002, which was promotion.
Goosebumps. Alert.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant.
What happened in the Anglo-Italian job out there?
I always get asked that question. I tell you what happened was we I think we were 1-0 up, and Tatey being Tatey wound 1 or 2 players up, and they started to get really nasty in the last 20 minutes. And I mean, spitting at people, standing on people, showing players six studs. It was a nasty, elbowing players off the ball, and we'd won the game, and Barry Fry called everybody into the centre circle because he knew it was going to get a bit tasty. There was one player missing, and as we looked, and when you go out, when you play abroad, some of the stands, the change rooms, you go up the stairs, and then you get the canopy. So as you go up the stairs, you lose sight of the players. And just as we were counting up, one of the players looked, and there was big Liam Dage going up the stairs on his own, surrounded by their team. So it was, somebody's missing. We looked Dacey. Now the first person off was Tatey. Tatey was legging it, quickly followed by Dave Bart, Dave Howard at the time. There was myself. And as we got to the top of the stairs, there was Big Dacey surrounded by what seemed, an army full of Italians ready to jump on him.
Yeah.
And if you know Captain Marvellous, you don't mess with him. And he didn't take no prisoners. He just said, if you're going to come for me, somebody's having it first. And that was it. It just went on. It was a free-for-all.
John, are you still banned in Italy?
Well, the funny thing was, I went there 2 years ago for the first time since '95, and I had to call the Foreign Office. I had to call CFA just to get clearance from me and my family to go.
Just the 20 years
yeah,
old.
I'm fine now to go.
Brilliant stuff. 262 games for Blues, 12 goals.
Yes.
Who was your first goal against?
No, I cannot forget it. It was a live game against Sheffield United, and what happened was all the majority of the time, because I was quick, because I'm quick. I was always the one that was told to stand on the halfway line and make sure that there was no transition breaks from corners and set plays. And Trevor kept saying, because you got a leap, why don't you get yourself up there? And I did, and it wouldn't come. And then, lo and behold, live game against Sheffield United, the ball just popped out to me, and I side-footed it in. And then after that, it was like a bus. You miss one, but then all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 coming along. So it was brilliant. But yeah, my first goal was against Sheffield United.
And what would you say would be your best goal you scored?
The best and the most memorable one, I scored a really good goal against Southend. I remember, a header which, there was a guy 6'4", 6'5" marking me, and I remember powering it in from about 20 yards out. But my most memorable one will be the one in the Worthington Cup quarter-final against Newcastle.
Right, yeah.
Where it was going to deadlock. We was going to go into extra time, and with about 2 minutes left, I caught a volley quite sweet, and it went past, I believe it was Steve Harper at the time, and we managed to make it through to the semi-final against Ipswich.
Brilliant. And of course, the rest was history after that.
Absolutely.
Would you still talk to David Ellery now?
I've seen him a couple of times and he still refuses to answer it.
I would just say, if you do see him,
go on.
Would you ask him if he would come in for an interview, please?
I think he might decline that one.
We might have a queue at the door.
Couple of questions on Facebook again, Michael. Do you remember hitting the post in the last minute of the playoff final against Norwich? And did you think maybe it's just not going to be our day?
Yeah, well, that's the story of my life, inches. And I mean inches by height and inches by, obviously, the width of the post at Millennium. I remember it very clear. And again, as I've headed the ball, and there's the dying minutes of the game, and you're thinking, just to hit the inside of the post and go in. But only for me, it hit the post and bounced out. And then you think the worst, don't you? You kind of think, well, that's it. The chance is gone. I don't know why the penalties would go, but thankfully, obviously, we managed to get over the line.
That's Mr. Brown for you. He's on buttons again tonight.
And obviously, this is a prevalent one at the moment. You've mentioned him before. Your views on Steve Bruce going down the road? Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Were you surprised, first of all?
Yes, I was. And now, I'll be honest, I've been in the coaching game probably 6 or 7 years now, and it's a club that I would find very, very hard to go and work for obvious reasons. But I understand if I was going to go there, I'd probably be working potentially in academy sort of level. It's totally different when you're dealing with the kind of numbers that Steve would be. He's a manager, and I think where it's a little bit more acceptable is the fact that it's 10 years later. It's not like Alex McLeish did. God bless him. And whilst I understand the feeling of rejection from Blues fans, the feeling of lack of loyalty, you've got to understand there is a man who's going to manage a club. He's out of work, and it's a chance for him to earn a decent salary. I would woe anybody who worked for another organisation the opportunity not to go and earn themselves and their family a decent wage. So there's two sides to it. I think one is that it's 10 years later. 2, he's going to be earning a decent salary. And 3, he was an out-of-work manager.
Yeah. I was more surprised about Clements joining him as well, because it wasn't long ago that he was making comments about his time at Blues and had a few choice words to say about Villa, obviously. But as you say, both out of work, and obviously they enjoyed their time together at Hull. So
yeah,
it's very weird seeing them in that strip, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be weird. I've not seen him. I didn't see the game the other night, but is Birch gone as well? Keith Birch still? Is he gone?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, he's Steve's team from Sunderland, so he's moved him from Sunderland to Hull and now to Villa. And, I understand what Birmingham City fans, the feeling, but you've got to realise that, this is a guy who wants to get back in. And he still lives in the Birmingham area, so it's a good fit for him. It's just obviously not a good fit for Birmingham City fans.
If you text them down, it'd be a perfect fit for us. We've sent another over there to try and do the job. I'm surprised I didn't get Lee Clark in.
Hey, you're giving away our secret mission.
Yeah. Your fan club's increasing. Tracy Hemmings also sends a love to you and tells us that she's very much in love with you.
Oh, God bless her. Tell her thanks.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm sure she's listening anyway. She is. She is, yeah. What are you up to nowadays then?
So at the moment, I have quite a number of roles. I coach Cardiff under-23s. I'm doing an ambassadorial role for Derby County.
Yeah.
And I'm a board member for the League Managers Association. So I wear quite a few hats at the moment.
You've got to be impartial then.
Sorry?
You have to stay impartial.
Yeah, stay impartial, and obviously, for all my former teams, it's quite difficult because there's an affection for the teams that I play for, which is great. So I try and stay impartial, but sometimes it is difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
12 games for Jamaica.
Yeah.
Which was the best out of that lot?
For me, I played in the CONCACAF, which is like the Euros version of the other side of the road, South America. So for me to play in the CONCACAF, teams like Brazil, Argentina was in it, Mexico. It's something that you don't think as a footballer you're going to get to, especially when you're in the Championship and you're not quite England football level. But because of my parents who were born in Jamaica, I managed to get an opportunity to go and play, and it was brilliant.
You moved on to Derby after Blues.
Yeah.
Did you ever come back and play against Blues?
Yeah, I did a couple of times, which was really weird. Always received a good reception.
Yeah,
from the Blue Noses, which was really nice. But yeah, it was weird because I spent the best part of 9 years of my life there. It's a long, long time, especially nowadays. You look at football, you don't see many football players spending nearly 9 years.
No.
So when I look back, and the 9 years I spent was the main part of my career, 21 to 30 years old. So Birmingham City had the best years of Michael Johnson.
All right. You make no hiding of the fact that you're a Christian.
Yes.
And quite often read your Facebook posts and have a little bit of a deep think sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a deep person.
But both Chris and myself are ordained ministers. That's actually true as well. It's true.
Is that true? Is it?
Yeah. Have you got any?
Oh, you're pulling my leg.
Sorry.
No, is that true, or you're pulling my leg?
No. It's actually true. It's actually true.
Okay.
We both did it on the internet. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Kieran says he had the pleasure of interviewing Jono at the Hal Parry football match, the first one 3 years ago. Just wanted to ask what is his favourite footballing moment where the players and fans have had that raw emotional and share a connection together.
I think for me, I'll always remember for there's two. There was one when we got beaten in the Everton Cup final, and there was an image which was zoomed in on me crying on the post.
No problem at all. I've got no problem with that. I do it at every game.
But I think the main one which connects, and it's great to see even little young children 2-3 years old go, "Daddy, Mummy," there's that man with the hat who was doing that dance, blowing that horn. And I think that's always something that will always be connected with me, is the fact that there was this bloke dancing on the Millennium Stadium pitch, blowing a horn with the hat on, with a silly hat on.
And was it you?
It was me.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just a few more on the Facebook page. Your opinion on the current Blues youth system? Obviously, Jack Storer and Ronan Hale have been earmarked as potential first-team squad members in the coming years. What are your thoughts on that?
On the Blues youth system?
Yes.
Well, there's no doubt, obviously, that there's players coming through the system. You look at, obviously, let's go further back. Your Nathan Redmonds, your Jack Butlands, terrific players, and I think that Blues have always had a real strong pull towards youngsters, and you have to give credit to the staff down at the academy, Christian, and particularly for me, one of the unsung heroes is Michael Dodds, who's a fantastic coach who gets the best out of young players and speaks to the youngsters and the coach in the right and professional way. So for me, I think that the future's good. I know that there's one or two more coming through. I still obviously have a real eye when I look at what's happening in the academy at Blues. We played them the other day. Our Cardiff players played them, and we got thumped. But I think the future's bright here.
And going back to your time at the CONCACAF, did you have a favourite player or a memorable player who you played against or in those tournaments?
Oh my word! You can go through that. There was Zidane, there was Ronaldo, players of that sort of ilk.
It's not a bad lineup.
Yeah, the players of that sort of ilk, and Ibrahimovic. There's players that you would possibly never got close to, dreamed of playing against, that you played against, and whilst with all due respect to Jamaica, we was never going to win the CONCACAF, or it was just a great experience to go and play and pit yourselves against some of the great countries and the great players for these countries in the world.
You talk about the former players who you're still in contact with from your time at Blues. A question from Chris Redding: how many of those players would you say class Blues as the best time that they've had in football or the best club they've played for?
I think quite a lot from the time I played, and I'm talking, the likes of your Jeff Horsfields, your Paul Devlins, your Martin Grangers, your Darren Pursers, those sort of players who realised what a real strong team spirit we had. This when we got promoted, it wasn't a fluke. We've been knocking at the door in a few seasons before and failed 3 times. We were close, and we were close without any real big names or big signings. So that tells you a lot about the team ethic that we had, and eventually we got the job done.
You're just mentioning a few names there. It's in the hairs on my arm again.
Yeah. Some good players.
It happens every time. I love it.
Yeah. One from Paul Lilly. Not necessarily a player, could be employee, but who was your favourite person or somebody who you always enjoyed spending time with at Blues?
Oh, there's quite a few, and there's some people that are still there now. Mike Wiseman, a real strong custodian of the club. His father obviously was the chairman and sadly passed away.
Yeah.
I love spending time with Joe Alsop when I go back to the club now. Julius Shelton, people like that which have been there for all the thick and thin, and hopefully will remain there now the good times look on the horizon. And this fella needs to get a real good mention for me. It's Brian Murphy, who passed away. Brian was, he was somebody that did everything outside of the football at the training ground, but he made you feel so welcome, had time for you, used to love making cups of teas for the players, would do absolutely anything, and he sadly passed away. But Birmingham have got some real quality people working in the background for them, who I hope will still remain, because they've been through the last 5 years where it's been really, really dour, and hopefully now they get a chance to share some of the good times.
Marvellous. Did you ever play in a local derby?
I came on a sub a couple of times. Obviously, the Enkelman and the one on Leaky's Foot spring to mind.
I watched it again today.
It was. I remember watching it at the time and just thinking, you know what, these guys here don't fancy it as much as what we do.
Yeah.
But I remember, and Paul Devlin always speaks about, there was quite a bit of media attention for Villa, you know, in the build-up to those games. At the time, they'd spent more years in the Premier League than us, and Melborg was, you know, in the press, you know, spouting off that it was going to be easy and this and that, and you know, we were in the tunnel before the actual game and at Villa Park, and you just knew from the team spirit, the noise that we were generating in that tunnel, that every man in that squad, not just the team, were up for this, and they didn't want to know. They didn't want to know, and you know, that transpired and spilled out into the pitch, and we quite rightly, you know, done the double that year.
Well, you're obviously aware that we've got one looming in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Capped at 25,600 now, I believe. Somebody's released an extra 600 tickets, so it's a capped game, so that we're not going to get a capacity, which is a bit unfortunate, really. But you can understand that after what went on at the last meeting. Are you going yourself?
I'm not quite sure yet. Probably not now. You've told me that there's capped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that everybody will have an eye on. You know, it's a massive game, for not only for the bragging rights of the players, but bragging rights for the supporters. We are well aware that, you know, this is, you know, families will probably be divided for the 90 minutes.
Are you really genuinely well aware of that, though?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Especially, like, even when you play, is it in your mind?
Yes.
Right.
No, not so much when you're playing, but in the build-up, you are well aware of what it means to the city. Because everybody
this one means everything to me. Everything.
Yeah, and there you go. And that's why, as a player, you got to turn up that game. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for those that gonna shy away from their responsibilities. This is, you know, this is a game here which requires men to go out there and perform for 90 minutes. It's battle, and what you want is to do your team colours, your team proud, because we understand that our fans need to go home with the bragging rights. Mm-hmm. Our fans need to go home knowing that Monday morning they can get into that workplace proud of the 11 players or 16 players that have been called to do duty for their club.
Yeah. I think obviously there was the derby last year in the Cup as well, but we had that, you know, even though we lost the game, Blues fans had that feeling coming out of the game as well. So, you know, but now we're on a level playing field. I think there is more of an emphasis on the result as such this time round.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'm going to say this in the right way. I don't really care about Villa's history. So
nor me.
Or
their future. Have they got a history?
No.
Well, you know, there's been one or two comments on my Twitter page about, you know, well, this is what we've done in the past.
Yeah. Well, I just keep reminding them, Michael, that they've won a catering award since 2000. Since the year 2000, they've won a catering award.
Nothing wrong with a catering award.
No. We do have the chief caterer in with us tonight.
But going on, obviously, to this game here, it's about us being the top team in the West Midlands at the moment. Obviously, you know, West Brom are in the Premier League, but the West Brom and the Birmingham rival is there, but it's never as tense as Aston Villa. So it's great bragging rights to make sure that they know their place. You know, come that game, after that 90 minutes, you're firmly put in your seat. And that's what I'd like to see happen at the next game.
Warden Blue says on the shout box, I think this match ranks as big, if not bigger, than when we beat them the first time we were in the Premiership. I absolutely agree with him.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on it now. It really is, because the balance of power could start to shift.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
it
what
feels
I
good.
firmly believe.
It feels good.
Yeah. And it'd also be good to get one over on Brucey.
Yeah, too right it would. Did you see the coffin that we had built?
I heard about this.
we were on Fox News all across America.
Was it really?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I might have to go on Google afterwards, have a little butcher's.
Just Google it.
Some woman told us, "Don't be silly, boys. Put the coffin away.
Yeah,
Grow up."
$5.2
It was 5.2 million internet hits in 4 days.
Real, my word.
Oh yeah. We went worldwide.
Got a lot of
with it.
interest in it,
Brilliant. Coaching role at Blues. If one come up, would you take it?
Possibly. I mean, I've just enrolled on a technical director course now, and I think that's where I see my strengths and my abilities now, is to try and lead an organisation and you know, as a technical director, I think that's the way the game's going, and that's the way I've started to look at life in terms of learning and my next career move. So I wouldn't turn it down, but I'd be more inclined to look at a technical director sort of role.
Okay.
Final one from me, Jono, as a 27-year-old who was like 13, 14 at the time and remembers both of them so fondly. If you could go back to either one of the two, the home game or the away game in that first season back against Villa, which one would it be?
The home game, without shadow of doubt.
Yeah.
Special atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, special atmosphere and special memories. Just walking out and just seeing, you know, so many Blue Noses who haven't sampled that for so many years, and obviously, you know, the result it was brilliant.
I mean, how much more? Well, you don't need anything else to pump you up, do you? Really? You
don't.
It's just that. It's what it is. It's like walking out to a wall of fire. Lovely.
You're spot on, and you know, once the game rolls around in a couple of weeks, you just shut your eyes and you just sample the atmosphere. If that doesn't get you going, you're in the wrong profession. You're watching the wrong sport.
Yeah.
You got to be on the edge of your seat after that.
Well, we'll be taking two people. It will be their very first local derby experience. So let's hope that we're on the winning side.
Brilliant.
Oof. I tell you, I'm getting nervous already. My belly's churning, honestly.
We're fine.
You see that, you know, and I think it's great that footballers then do understand what we go through, because
definitely.
You know, in my opening notes on the show today, and you know, I implore you to listen to it tomorrow. It only lasts for about 5 minutes, so it will be up on the on all of the Facebook pages. You know, we go through so much. You know, court cases, suing, counter suing. How did we ever survive such a mess? Receivers beaten 8-0 against Bournemouth. You know, and it was just a horrible time. It's been a horrible 5 years. We're overjoyed today. But I do feel overjoyed. I feel like better by the minute at the moment, because like it's kind of the reality's sinking in now that that's behind us. And from the very first time I met the gentleman sat across this table with me 5 years ago, it's all we've had to talk about.
Yeah, it's not been good, and there's no getting away from it. The last 5 years have been horrendous.
Well, in my first show,
my
opening notes on the very first show, one of the very first shows that we did was, no worries, you know, 6 weeks down the line it'll all be done and we'll have new owners. 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
5 years later.
Well, you didn't expect it to be such a minefield, you know what I mean? And it must have been a hell of a job for the receivers to sort out. So credit to them as well, you know, for all the work that they've done. Certainly credit to all the backroom staff and the playing staff and everybody at St Andrews, because like it's just been a time that it's just ripped 5 years out of your life, you know.
Yeah, it's been really bad, and like I said, it's been a lot of work behind the scenes.
So now is the time they've got to give us something to shout about in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah,
it's what it does.
Get behind the club now, 2 weeks' time. Timing's perfect for it, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Michael, what can I say apart from lots of love from Tracy, lots of love from Pat?
Brilliant. Likewise, right back at home.
You're in the fan club. Are you still in the area, or do you live down towards Cardiff now?
No, I'm still in the Midlands. I live in Derby.
You live in... Oh, well, I'm a Uttoxeter boy myself.
Yeah, okay, so you're not far from me.
Not far from you at all, mate. No. If ever you want to lift in on a Monday night and come and do this live, I'd be only too pleased, kid.
Okay, as long as you're driving.
I'll drive, mate. I'll drive, but my sister's going to be here.
Brilliant.
And wasabi peas. We have wasabi peas for our special guests.
Oh, dear.
Dear, brilliant stuff, Michael. Michael, absolute pleasure to speak to you tonight. All the best with everything you're doing. Thanks ever so much for being part of the Tilton Talk show. I would like to make it a live one day, and if you can get hold of Benno or any of the other crew,
definitely.
get hold of Benno or any of the other crew, and who we've got coming in next week is somebody that you mentioned earlier, but we've not told the listeners who it is yet. So we have got quite a biggie. Chris will tell you off air in a minute.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute superstar, Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson.
Thank you very
Magic
much.
Johnson.
Thank you.
Michael Magic Johnson.
Bye-bye.
That's what we want. That's what we want. Loved the way he spoke about the Villa game there.
Yeah, I mean, as a man who spent 9 years at Blues, you know, it obviously comes across so clear as day that it means a lot to him, as it does to every fan, you know, and it's that sort of. I mean, he says he's welcome back at Blues, and he always gets a good reception. I think that's the sort of attitude that makes him get that good reception. Is that, you know, he knows what it's like as a fan. You know, he's almost been ingrained as a fan himself, so. You know, you
can't not, can you? Surely, after spending 9 years at a place, you know,
so
have an affinity for it.
Yeah, I think so. Especially somewhere like Blues, where he went through the promotion, the near misses, the promotions, and the start of the Premier League campaign. So that sort of time at Blues was massive, wasn't it? You know, and we were getting the full houses in that first Premier League season.
Yes.
It's not a surprise that people could got, you know, he mentioned Devlin and the likes and Horsfield. It's no surprise that there is a massive place in their hearts for Blues because of the time they were at us as well.
Nice man.
Lovely bloke. I mean, you know, whenever he speaks, he always speaks very eloquently and obviously so nice about Blues as well. So, yeah, really good interview again.
Right, again, don't know where that 35-40 minutes went to. Dear me. On to other things. Super 6. I've got to give Gordon Tonkinson a mention today. Well done to Gordon for the first time getting into the top 10 of the Super 6 for this round. And I've also got to grovel and say well done to my sister. She's currently second in the league, which is hurting me tremendously. Not the fact that I give another 20 quid to, you know, the Cancer Foundation there. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's just the bragging rights of the family, and I'm behind, and I have to concede to that, and it hurts. Oh, it hurts.
It wasn't a very good week for any of us, was it? I think
No.
I top scored with 6. Did I?
Six as well, yeah.
I think I got 4, did I?
Oh,
I kind of gave up after. But yeah, hey ho. So yes, so there you go, Gordon. You've had your mention. That's all you're getting. He's a Man United supporter.
He'll be busy now. Then
he'll be busy now. He'll be in the Swan at the minute. He'll be looking at listening to this tomorrow when he wakes up. Hopefully, he'll have a headache.
Still 0-0.
He's still 0-0. Okay, cool. Nice one.
Can you just say we had over 100 comments on that Facebook page?
I can't believe the amount of people that were looking and listening.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry if we didn't get through to your question.
I mean, there was
Obviously
a lot
very
of comments. And I'm sorry, I missed quite a few, but we did our best.
Do you think?
Best,
do you
right?
think? Right? Do you think? Because we've still got a lot of people.
I
listening.
don't get paid for thinking.
I know, but just this once,
paid?
right? Just this once, we get paid. Just this once. Do you think we should let the guests know who's on next week so they can prepare some questions?
Tell you what, no.
Okay.
That's that sort, is it?
That's sorted.
Forest game. We didn't
Monday.
show up. What happened?
Yeah, we mentioned it as a possible banana skin, but you know, could you consider it a banana skin? I mean, it's Nottingham Forest away. They're a decent Championship side. We mentioned they scored a lot of goals.
And conceded quite a few as well, yeah.
goals. So it's no surprise that both teams ended up scoring on the day.
I see Djukovic getting another goal.
Yeah, I think it's important for him that he's continuing to score, and that's 3 now since he's come in, and you know, hopefully it'll give him confidence. But I think it was a strange decision to split the centre half partnership of Shotton and Morrison. He moved Shotton to right back so he could put Robinson in at centre back. When you've got a partnership that has played as well as Shotton and Morrison together, there were options for him to use at right back. I think he mentioned that he was tempted to play the young lad Cogley, I think. But I think for me that's a strange decision to split up the spine of your team. You know, the centre half two that have played so well for you this season already. But it's one of them. They got the first goal and it's tough. Then if we'd have got the first away from home, the first goal's massive in Blues games. But I hope we haven't really lost ground as such because we didn't lose any places. I think the teams below us, apart from Sheffield Wednesday won. I
think Forest they were due a win. I mean, with the new
I don't think they'd won since August, and every home game that comes along then, when you're on that type of run, you really put effort in to try and win that, and there's so little to choose between every team in the Championship that
definitely.
Onwards then to the next one, Rotherham at home tomorrow night. Do you think there's going to be a crowd increase tomorrow?
I hope so. Mm-hmm. It's always difficult with Tuesday night games. You're never quite sure. But the news that obviously has come out today might help the attendances. But then again, everybody's going to want to be saving for the game next week, aren't they? So
I think those people they'll have their tickets.
Ready.
I think, won't they?
But I hope there's an increase in attendance, but a few people, like you say, we mentioned it earlier, the people who said that they weren't going to come whilst Carson was in charge. Well, that can't be your excuse anymore. No. But I mentioned earlier. I said earlier. I think once you haven't been for a few years, once you haven't been for 3-4 years, regularly going to games and things, it's tricky to get that back then. Yeah. That bug back. But hopefully people will do it. People will give it another shot now that regime's over.
At least we know that the week after that there's 25,600 going to be there. 23,600 Birmingham City supporters or people who are going to watch Birmingham City play. And if those are members of the Stay Away Fraternity, that might, with a win, just give the buzz back again. Because it doesn't take much. It only takes one rendition to keep right to the end of the comments we had about that earlier. Played that light at the beginning of the show, and people were saying, what a great anthem, what a beautiful tune. It gets in you, it gets in your blood, it gets in under your skin and everywhere, doesn't it? Look.
Yeah.
Can I just say we've got internet problems. We are still recording, but for some reason we've lost connection. So just carry on.
Carry on.
Okay, so we'll carry on.
Regardless.
Apologies to all those thousands of people now that was going to drop off the screen.
Unbelievable. They've all gone down.
Stay Away fans then, so it shouldn't take too much to get that buzz back if things go right on the day.
If everybody, if we put in a decent performance against Villa and hopefully those people will get the bug back.
Yeah.
And they'll keep coming to more games then. But obviously, the major point is playing well. If we're playing well and we're near the top 6, then people are going to be more likely to come. If we're not playing well and we drop off and we're mid-table again, then even with the new ownership and everything, I think you'll struggle to get the attendances because that's just modern day football, unfortunately.
The big one, it's looming.
Burton away.
Hey. Are we back up and running yet, mister?
No.
Okay.
But we are still recording.
We'll carry on anyway, just for the podcasts. The big one's looming. I can't believe that they got relegated anyway, because I thought they'd probably do the Great Escape again. But now to have them in our division, and to know that it's just a couple of weeks away, it's going to happen. Yeah. I don't know. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing already. I'm just this, and sort of saying to John earlier, it just winds you up so much, and then it's going to be win, lose or draw, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's an absolute. That's an absolute. But I'm scared, and you know, I've got every
There's
emotion.
2 games
from,
to go. Yeah, before that.
I know, but
I think that's important for the players. Obviously, as fans, it's easy to get carried away, and you know, to immediately look towards that Villa game, because we are in that month now, and we are only 10 days, 11 days away. So you know, it's easy to get carried away. But we have got 2 important games to go before that. A lot can happen in those games, and obviously with the defeat on Friday night, ideally you want to bounce back in these 2 games and get a bit of momentum going again. Before, the last thing you want is to not win any of the 3 games before a derby. You know, you want the momentum. So
yeah, let's hope we've had that banana skin that we talked about.
But I think it's a wake up, you know, rather than a banana skin, because I don't see anybody beating anybody in this league a banana skin, because it's that type of league. You can't walk into a game guaranteed to beat anybody in this division. Not at all. So you know, you hope it's a wake up call rather than a banana skin. You know, and Rowett's come out and said about how he wants a response tomorrow night at home, you know, with the news that's just come out today. So hopefully that we can get that, and then Burton on Friday night as well. Mm-hmm. You know, games coming thick and fast. So hopefully we can get a bit of momentum back and playing decent football again before that derby.
We spoke to John about Brucey. What were your thoughts on him crossing this?
It's not a surprise. You know, Johnson. It's a job, isn't it? The fact it's been 10 years.
Is it a job? Is it like you moving from KFC to McDonald's? Is it a job? Is it a job?
It would be like that for me. Yeah, of course it would, because I've got, you know, it means nothing to me. But football club's different, isn't it? But Bruce doesn't support Blues. He worked for Blues. Mm. You know, that's where your difference is. And Michael said he'd find it very tough to work for Villa. You know, and I think him being a player and going through that 9 years as such, is, you know, it got inside him, and I think it got inside Bruce as well. But that was 10 years ago now, and he's managed at a lot of other clubs since, and he's come back to manage against Blues since for various other teams. So
sadly, we're having internet problems. So what we'll do is we'll go on to this, and then we'll cut at that. Then we'll crack it for next week. Don't worry. Keep right on to the end of the road.
Yeah.
Played it at the beginning of the show. Keep right on till the end of the road is sang nowadays. Can we just get the words right? This is our anthem after all.
We're going to go into the la 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 thing as well.
Yes, la la la. Got it written there. Look, Chris, la la la. Do you like the la la la?
I prefer the la la la.
Do you prefer the la 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 than the clap clap clap? The clap 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 sounds a bit loose, doesn't it? It just there's nothing there. Yeah, the la la la. It's like we want a la la la.
Definitely a la la la.
Yeah.
What would you prefer?
No, I don't like the clapping. So yeah,
I don't mind if it's done both. If both, do that by all means. You know, but please, it's part of the song. It's part of the history. La la la. We bring it back.
Yeah.
Make sure it stays in. And can we please, at some junction, sing the very slow version, because that one is an absolute belter.
Well, it'd be good to get that going just before kick-off, if you like.